All right. Shalom, shalom. I'd like to start off by saying, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahawashi, Ho Elohim La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahawashi, Bahashem, Qadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that's scattered abroad, the Akim and the Aqua that's listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing that the lesson is edifying. The brother Shuab Amawan back at you with another lesson. And as always, we come out week in and week out to prophesy the downfall of America, which is also known as Babylon the Great. All right, to prophesy the downfall of the so-called white man, which is the devil that the Bible speaks of. All right, and salvation is preached unto you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, which are the true Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speak of. All right, and it is now high time to awake out of sleep, for our salvation is nearer than we believe. Okay, and as always, we say, it's beautiful times that we're living in, all right, because of the things that are happening upon the earth, all right, which is all prophecy, okay? We're in the time and in the spirit of prophecy on a daily basis, man. And that's why you see this place, Babylon the Great, being destroyed little by little, all right, because you have this so-called white man's queendom, all right? It's so damn polluted and wicked that the Lord pretty much had enough of it, man, all right? And what he's doing is he is slowly bringing down and exposing Esau, man, as the scriptures tell you in Jeremiah 49. All right, let's grab that. This is Jeremiah 49. All right, this is Jeremiah 49 and 10, and it says, "But I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not." All right. So we're in the time that the Lord is exposing, all right, and consuming this devil by the spirit of his mouth. All right. And what's the spirit of his mouth? The prophets. Okay. The Lord says, "Surely I will do nothing but reveal my secrets unto the servants, the prophets." So on a daily basis, all right, because we meditate in the word of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahawashi, he exposes these secrets onto us, all right, being servants. And Lord willing, we are of that number, all right? So Esau's to the point where he can no longer hide himself anymore, man. Everything is spewing out of this devil's pores, man, all right? His wickedness, all right? And going into the title, all right, pagan rituals and Canaanite gods, all right? And it all goes back to all that, you see? Because the same thing that you seen back in those ancient times, man, all right? And the Canaanites, right? They had a lot of Canaanite gods. They had multiple gods. All right. It's the same thing that you see here today in America. All right. All types of different weirdo gods. All right. All different types of ritual and demonic, pagan and rituals. That's like it. Pagan and demonic rituals. All right. Being poured out right in front of our faces, man. And this is why the Lord is exposing, these top banking families, these elites. All right. As you can see, what's going on with, a trending topic right now in America is all these elites of these PDF files. Okay, you know exactly what files we're talking about. All right, and you see that they're exposing, Donald Trump, your Clintons. Okay, any of these other damn, top elite banking families, man, that are all in cahoots with each other. You see, and that's because they still are worshiping, the times of the Canaanite gods, man. All right. This is the same thing that they were doing back in those times. All right. Showing you that there is no new thing under the sun. Let's grab that real quick. This is Ecclesiastes. All right. Salakia. This is Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. And it says, "The thing that has been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It has been already of old time, which was before us." You see? So the same thing that you see being done here in America, in Hollywood, all right? You see all these different rituals being put out, through your through this witchcraft and sorcery, through your actual TV screen, all right, through your music, all right. It's the same thing that they were doing back in the ancient world, man. All right, just in different forms. You see, different times, different eras, all right. But the gods remain the same. You see, Those gods have never changed. Maybe the names have changed, all right, but within time, all right, we come to realize that it's the same thing always being done over and over and over again. That's why the scriptures repeat themselves over and over again, all right, telling you the same exact thing because our people are what? They're ignorant, they're stiff-necked, they're stiff-hearted, okay? They're hard-headed to the point where you got to tell them over and over again. And the same thing that they were doing back in the ancient time, you know, resisting the Holy Spirit, they're resisting it today, okay? But now it is worse than it's ever been, all right? This is why it tells you in 2nd Ezra, all right, 15, and this is 6. For wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth. You see, exceedingly, like way and beyond, okay? Worse than it's ever been, all right? The Lord said that it would be better for Sodom and Gomorrah back in those times, man, than the times of today. You see, and those times were actually more. It was hella wicked in the times of Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay, and which that goes back to these different Canaanite gods and all that, right? They were all worshiping all types of. What did they worship? They worshiped Molech. All right, they worshiped Ishtar. They worshiped Baal. All right, are these not the same gods that these devils are worshiping today? Okay, through your music, you know, through your TV screen, you know, especially the music, man. The music industry is one of the biggest, most demonic, you know, the most demonic thing that they use today because it's spiritual that our people love actual music, man. Because we were people of music, you see, we were constantly singing onto YAHAWAH'S. All right, but now we no longer do these things, man. They actually do it in wickedness. Okay, so again, it says, for wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and the hurtful works are fulfilled. Therefore, saith the Lord Yahweh, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. You see? So the Lord sees that his true elect, all right, those that truly believe, that have turned back to righteousness and want to continue in righteousness, all right, are continually pouring out their soul, man, to destroy this place. Okay? And again, it has exceedingly polluted the whole earth, this wickedness that these devils push out. All the witchcrafts and sorceries are way and beyond. Okay, this is why the Lord is exposing these devils, man. All right, you got a whole bunch of, you know, going back to the time of the Canaanites. All right, they were heavy into that paganism also. Okay, because you had the god of Baal. All right, which was it was a god of weather. All right, Baal also goes into king. You know, so they worshipped it to the skies. Okay, being their top god basically. You know, which this all goes back also to Nimrod also. Okay, then you had Ishtar, which was the goddess of fertility, you know, of sexual persuasion, basically. Okay, and then you had Moloch, which was what? One of the worst. You know, they were taking innocent blood from children, man. Here it is that the Lord makes what? You know, children come of the Lord. That's a gift from Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. But see, our people will what? They will go out and worship, all right, Moloch, and then give that precious gift that Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai created, and he will give them, they will give them right back to Moloch, all right, setting their seeds in the fire. Okay, and best believe these things are still going on in Hollywood. All right, still going on with all your favorite celebrities that are music artists. Okay, every single one of these damn celebrities that you see today, okay, they all do some satanic rituals, man, paganistic rituals in front of your faces, man. And you guys still think that these people are cute, you know? You think the women are cute, you think that the men are handsome, okay? When in all reality, behind closed doors, they're doing the most defiled, the most filthy, abominated things right before the sight of the Lord, man. And they all have sold out for $1. You know, they have sold out for $1 bill. Okay, and the scriptures tell you that in Mark. Let's grab that real quick. You know, this is Mark 8. All right, and before I go into that, right, something to share, you know, because when you go into all these gods, right? You know, basically what they were all created for was a spiritual destruction, man. Okay? Because as opposed to Yahweh, all right, Yahweh was one that brought you what? Holiness, just, okay, pureness, faithfulness. He showed you mercy, right? He showed you truth, okay? But what was the job of all these Canaanite gods, all right? Going on, trickling all the way on to different gods now, okay? They were all fickle. They were all cruel, okay? They were powerless, okay, at the end of the day. None of them were real gods. They were all made of stone, wood, metal, you know, all types of weirdo material, man. When Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai was what? All right? He was the one that created everyone in his image, all right? Going back to the Israelites. He created the Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians in his image, okay? And what was the point of these Canaanite gods? It was to destroy the image of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. You see? To the point where they were what? They were deceptive, all right? They taught you sensuality, okay? They taught you manipulation. They led you on to death. You see, here it is that the Lord is life. All right. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, the word of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai is life. All right. And all these gods are leading you to death. Okay. Matter of fact, before I grab Mark 8, all right, let me grab that real quick. This is Baruch. One second. This is Baruch 4:1. And it says, this is the book of the commandments of Yahweh and the law that endureth forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. Turn thee, O Jacob, and take hold of it. Walk in the presence of the light thereof, that thou may be illuminated. See? So the Lord gave you a book of life, man. A book to follow by, an instruction manual, all right? To be able to build yourself in the righteous manner, okay? And all these different gods have done what? They have destroyed you. And this is why the Lord, little by little, has destroyed every single one of our people. Okay, when you go into 4 and 6, it says, ye were sold unto the nations, not for your destruction, but because you moved Yahweh to wrath, you were delivered unto the enemies, for ye provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils and not to Yahweh. You have forgotten the everlasting power that brought you up and have grieved Jerusalem that nursed you. Okay, so you know this is why we've always fell into these different enemies' hands, man. Okay, and this is why you're still falling to this day into these different enemies' hands. Okay, because our people love to sacrifice onto devils rather than to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. What's going on, boss? All right, this is going back to Mark. Okay, Mark 8, I believe it's 36. One more second. 8 and 36. It says, for what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? Whosoever therefore shall be ashamed of me and of my words in this adulterous and sinful generation, of him also shall the Son of Man be ashamed when he cometh in the glory of his Father with the holy angels. You see? So these people out here are what? Constantly selling their souls, you know, to have the glamorous life, you know, to be able to have the good things of life, the finer things of life. All right. But those are all what? Those are all pleasures of sin that are temporary, man. Pleasures of sin that are only going to last a season. Okay. What the Lord has given you is going to last forever. The Lord has given you something, all right, that will never die off, an eternal image. Okay. An eternal image with an eternal kingdom. All right. And these people will sell their damn souls, you know, for the stupidest reason, man. All right. And what coming with selling your soul comes the most immoral and disgusting and defiled and filthy abominations you can ever do in front of the Lord, man. You see, the rabbit hole goes deep as hell when you go into what these devils are doing behind closed doors, man. And this is why those PDF files You know, you got Mr. DT that doesn't want to what? He doesn't want to let that shit out. Okay. The rest of these elites don't want to let that out. Okay. You got our people that now all of a sudden you don't hear them making their musics. They're all hiding. Okay. Why? They're hiding their faces because they know the shame that's gonna be brought upon them. You see, you could try to hide, all right, behind closed doors, man. You can hide from the camera, but you can't hide from YAHAWAH'S. You see, because the Lord is constantly recording all the works that these devils do behind closed doors. All right. As a matter of fact, since we in Second Ezra, let's grab that real quick. 16 and 62. It says, yeah, and the spirit of the almighty power Yahweh, which made all things and searcheth out all the hidden things and the secrets of the earth. Surely he knoweth your inventions and what you think in your hearts, even them that sin and would hide their sin. Yeah, because these things, all right, according to Luke, all right, are going to be brought to the light. And that's what you see happening right now. Everything is being brought to the light that's done in darkness. All right, this is 12 and 2 in Luke, and it says, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, nor hid that shall not be known. Therefore, whatsoever you have spoken in darkness shall be heard in the light, and that which ye have spoken in the ear in closets shall be proclaimed upon the housetops. Okay, so another precept that go with that: nothing that's done in secret, man, is going to be hid. It's going to be made manifest. Let's grab that real quick. For the things that are done in secret shall be made manifest. KJV. All right, this is Luke 8 and 17. It says, for nothing is secret. Okay, nothing is secret, because YAHWH knows all things, right? It says, for nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad. Okay, so again, whatever you're doing in the dark, man, is going to be brought out to the light at one point. All right, whether it be through the prophets, okay, whether it be YAHWH revealing us those secrets, okay, or whether it be, you know, the angels when it comes to the time of being judged. All right, going back to what? Second Ezra 16 and 64. Therefore has the Lord YAHWH exactly searched out all your works, and he will put you all to shame. And when your sins are brought forth, ye shall be ashamed before men, and your own sins shall be your accusers in that day. All right, and that's why you see a lot of these devils, they're trying to hide themselves right now, man. You see, because with all these files that are being brought out, okay, with all the tongues falling upon themselves, as the scriptures say, you know, that even Esau, Edom, his own tongue shall fall upon him. Okay, along with the rest of these nations, because remember, these nations are all in cahoots with each other, man. Okay, they all conspired together against the nation of Israel to take them out of the name of remembrance. All right, so you know, everything is coming to the light because the light is shining upon the darkness. See, this is a place of darkness. This world is a place of darkness, a shadow of darkness. All right, and the only thing that shines in this place is YAHWH. All right, and that's going to be through the light of the prophets. Okay, so we're the ones that exposing these devils. Believe it or not, when you see people saying the same thing that we have said for years, it's because they're constantly watching us, man. You see, now people are starting to watch the true Hebrew Israelites. All right, we're the main topic every day. All right, because this is why you have these devils trying to knock off the internet. You know, come out with all these harsh laws, draconian laws. You know, people that are preaching the word. You know, you're deemed as a domestic terrorist, basically. Okay, they're coming out with all these laws to basically imprison us for speaking against the government. You know, they want to bring all these different systems, you know, your social credit score system, you know, to demonize, you know, free speech, freedom of speech on the internet. You know, why? Because everything that we're saying is the truth. People tell the truth and it hurts. Come on, we tell the truth and it hurts these people, man. All right. And they thought that they were going to be able to hide their sins forever, man. Matter of fact, it tells you that in Psalms. Let me grab that real quick. This is Psalm 64. This is Psalm 64, and I'll take it from 5. It says, they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? You see? All right. Whether it be the snares, whether it be their wickedness. All right. They think that the Lord is not watching. They think that the Lord has forgotten the things that they have done. All right. But the Lord hasn't forgotten anything, man. The Lord is just allowing them to accumulate their sins. So when that time comes to be judged, all right, there's no excuse. There's no turning back from that judgment. You see? Let's go back to 2nd Ezra 16 and 65. And when your sins are brought forth, ye shall be ashamed before men, and your own sins shall be your accusers in that day. What will you do, or how will you hide your sins before Yahweh and his angels? Behold, Yahweh himself is the judge. Fear him, leave all from your sins, and forget your iniquities, to meddle no more with them forever. So shall Yahweh lead you forth and deliver you from all trouble. Okay? From all trouble at the end of the day. If you can turn back to the Lord. See, the Lord is a gracious power, man. The Lord is long suffering. All right. He gives forgiveness. Okay. But see, there's only so long that the Lord will leave that door of repentance open onto you. Okay. And that time is coming, right? And that time is coming that the Lord is closing that door. And this is why everything is coming to the light, man. All right. So you have all these damn devils, right, that are doing things behind closed doors that go back to what? Pagan rituals. All right. Going back to worship. We're still worshiping these Canaanite gods and different names, you know. Back to what I was saying, right? You know, the Lord basically, you know, he has done things that are all in faith, you know, teaching you faith, holiness. Okay. And you got basically these other gods, right, that will corrupt that image, all right, by making you follow their ways, all right, basically reducing us down to the flesh, man, all right, so we can live and sin right before our maker, man. We're not supposed to constantly be living in the flesh. Even though we are in the flesh, we're supposed to follow in the spirit. We're supposed to be walking in the spirit at all times, okay? As a matter of fact, let me grab that scripture. I say you walk in the flesh, KJV. Because those that are of this flesh mind the things of the flesh, right? Those that are of the spirit mind the things of the spirit. Okay? This is Galatians 5. This is Galatians 5:16, and it says, this I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. Okay? And that's what all these different gods, all right, and all these rituals that they show you in witchcraft and sorceries right before your eyes, that's exactly what they lead you to do, to constantly walk in the flesh, because it's a natural thing for the man to walk in the flesh, because we live carnally. You see, we're in the carnal flesh all day long, so it's that much easier for us to be led to that. See, but it's hard to do the right thing. It's hard to live in the spirit. Okay, if it was that easy, everybody would be doing it, man, and we'd be good. Everything be peaches and cream out here, man. We wouldn't have the Lord constantly reminding us through the prophets, through the scriptures, you know, to do the right thing, because we'd all be doing it. But it's already, you know, predestinated, all right, for us to definitely walk in the flesh. The creature was subject to vanity. Okay, it says, for the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that you would. You see, so we want to be living in the righteous manner, man, but because the creature is subject to vanity, all right, the spirit is always flesh, is always at war with the flesh, man. All right, and this is why the Lord gave you a manual, you know, the book of life, for you to elude from those things, man, so you don't have to follow after those ways. Okay, so again, you know, the Lord is what? He has taught you to be in the image that he has given you. He has given you his image. All right. But these gods of the Canaanites, all right, these pagan rituals, all right, they cause you to what? To corrupt that image, all right, and basically, you know, reducing yourself down to the flesh to the point where you instead of being spiritual, all right, you're feeding on pleasure. All right, it's not everything that you look around you about pleasure, man. Okay, even down to to your foods, man. All right, everything around you is about a pleasure. And the Lord taught us not to live in pleasure. Why? Because this is not our rest. The Lord said, arise and depart, Micah 2:10, arise and depart, for this is not your rest. You see, it will sorely destroy you. It will destroy you with a sword destruction. You see? So if he's telling you that's because every single thing around you, all right, is made to destroy your image that he has given you. Okay? You go to these damn stores, you thinking that you fulfilling yourself, you fulfilling your stomach with pleasure of food, but when you come to find out, you eating some abominated ass food. You out there eating pork, you know, sucking on your finger like, oh damn, that shit was good. But the Lord done gave you laws in the Levitical laws, right? 11th chapter of Leviticus to basically follow, all right? Because all those things were bad onto our bodies, man. You know, they'll go over there and they'll give you a whole bucket of shrimp, a whole bucket of lobster, you know, and those are all abominated foods, man. Why you think these people in America look the way they look, man? Why the hell you think these people got so much weight and they live in obesity all damn day, man? Okay, why you think their skin looks the way it looks? You know, why you think it look like in their eyes? Because the soul, the eyes is the window to your soul, man. Why you think when you look into their eyes, man, they look like they got 1,000 fucking demons on them, man? Because of the pleasures of this world, man. All right. You know, so going back to these gods, right? You know, the Lord gave you faith, man. The Lord gave you holiness. That's what he asked of you. Okay. But when you go to worship something like Baal, he demanded from you sexual persuasion, man. He's asking for you to be sexually immoral towards YAHAWAH'S. All right. And that's what a lot of these actors and these rappers, that's one of the main things that they're into, man. All right. Behind closed doors, they're all being straight fagonometry, bro. Every single one. I don't care who the hell you think is good looking to you. If you women think that the guys that are in this damn and Hollywood are sexy men to you, you off like a motherfucker. Why? Because that shit they all have nothing but the straight disgustingness in them, man. Filth. All right. If you think that the women that are in these if you're a man and you think that these women that are actors and they're singers and all that, you think that they're sexy, man, you off too. Okay? Because every single one of them is just disgusting witches, man. And the scriptures say, I suffer not a witch to live. All right. See, when they first come into the game, right, they all look good. You know, you're like, damn, this is a new one. Yo, she looking fly, you know, but it'll be only a matter of time before Esau destroys her image and has her doing some shit or having him do some shit that's immoral, you know. 2 years down the line, a year down the line, they doing a whole bunch of, you know, what do you call them? Rituals that they make themselves look low. All right, they be doing some weirdo shit. You know, you have the one of these guys just did that shit. Kai Sanat, right? He's a whole YouTuber, right? A multi-million-dollar YouTuber off of dumb shit. iSpeed, right? These are your newest people, your newest idols. See, they done put them in the bag already and made them do some wicked ass shit. You know, dressing up like women. You know, they don't have to bend over for the white man. All right, for them to continue to get all these different dollars. You know, all these different pleasures of the world. They got the nicest houses. They tell you that they're going on the best vacations of their life. Okay, but do you know what they had to do to get there? You see, you got the Lord teaches you what? The Lord teaches you repentance, right? Here it is that these devils, right? Such as Moloch, the gods that they worship, Moloch, right? They'll end up taking innocent blood. You see, here it is that you're taught repentance from YAHAWAH'S, but their gods teaching you to give up innocent blood. So behind closed doors, they have to sacrifice somebody that's in their families, man. That's why you'll see their mothers die. You know, you'll see some of these devils give up their own children, man. You know, set up their own children for destruction just for so they could live forever. Yeah, not live forever, so they could party forever. All right. You got what's one of them right now? You got Wallow and Gilly. Okay, them devils don't sacrifice their kids, man. Gilly did a not too long ago, it was about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. All right, he is where he is today with a multi-million dollar show, right? And he's all over the damn web, right? With his big Eagles hat on, his nice little car, you know, making his little dances all over the place. But he had to give up his, he had to sacrifice his son for that. You see? Same thing with Wallow. That nigga was locked up for a whole bunch of years, man. You think while he was locked up, he wasn't doing a whole bunch of homo ass things behind closed doors? Absolutely, man. That's why when he came out, all right, he didn't have no problem bending over for the white man. You see, to receive the things that they have now. All right. Every single one of these damn stars, all right, every single one of these celebrities, man, behind closed doors, they are smashing babies. Okay, they are killing babies. They are drinking blood, making sacrificial blood feasts. You know, drinking adrenochrome on a daily basis. Why you think they encourage our women to basically, you know, to abort their children, man? Because all that shit goes back to you already know what side of the country, all right? Going back to Israel, man. Going back to these small hatters so they could go and do their little pagan ass rituals and their little blood sacrifices in their places, man. You see? You know, the Lord basically taught you to what? He taught you to the Lord was here to protect our families, man. You have these people that worship, you have these women that worship Ishtar, okay? And Ishtar, the god of Ishtar, right? Goddess of Ishtar is about fertility, right? And here it is that the Lord is trying to teach you how to protect your family, but you got the goddess of Ishtar that will basically sexualize your family, man. You see? That's why you got your women that are so out of order, you know? The woman think that she's above the man. She trying to usurp authority over the man. All right. She'll try to kick the man out of the house. And she has the state of mind that she could do whatever the hell she wants. Okay. What do you think they learned that shit from? They learned it from Esau. But where do Esau get all these different where do you think Esau gets these different cultures from, man? Because Esau's a culture vulture. See? So what he does is he goes and takes the religions and all these different cultures from all these other different nations, man, and he tries to put it all in one. Okay? And best believe they were following after Canaanite gods. Okay? You see? You had Cain that took on the wives of Canaan, man. And Cain go back to being the so-called white man. Okay? So you see how they were in cahoots together at the end of the day. And this devil to this day, hey, ¿cómo estamos, papá? Todo está bien. Hey, you know? So at the same time, man, they were following after those gods to begin with, and they learned from all these different cultures, man, all these different gods. See, Esau's a cunning hunter. He's slick, man. So when he sees that all these other nations have brainwashed us with these different idols, okay, he uses the same effect. He uses these different idols that he has learned from these different cultures, right? And he'll go out there and use them against you. Then he knows the scriptures. So he know how to use the scriptures against you. He sees that these were the things that YAHAWAH'S was pissed off with, man. So he'll put it in your face. He'll use the same exact tactic, man. All right? And spiritual fornication is the number one thing that the Lord, you know, it was always pissed off at our people for, man. That was the first commandment that the Lord had given us, man. Not to worship any other idol. Okay? As a matter of fact, let's grab that real quick. Doing too much talking. All right? This is Exodus. This is Exodus 20 and 3. And it says, thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord Yahweh, thy power, am a jealous power, visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. You see? So the Lord told you, all right, not to follow after those gods, man, not to create any image. Okay? The Lord told you not to even make mention of them, man. All right? I believe that's in 22. Matter of fact, let me grab it on my phone. You're not to make mention of any of these other gods. All right, we make mention of them for edification's sake, man. But trust and believe, when we got to mention these damn names, man, that shit don't sit right in our spirit. All right? Because that's a commandment that the Lord had given us. You see? Thou shalt not make mention of any other gods, KJV. All right, this is Exodus 23 and 13. And it says, and in all things that I have said unto you, be circumspect, and make no mention of the name of other gods, neither let it be heard out of thy mouth. Okay? So we're not supposed to make no images, no graven images. We're not to be worshiping no stone, no wood, okay, no metal. All right? But see, this is what our people do on a daily basis today, man. Showing you that the Bible is real, man. Showing you who are the true Hebrew Israelites of the Bible, man. Okay? Because the only ones that are getting messed up by it, all right, is you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, man. None of these other nations that are worshiping on these other different gods, none of them is catching hell. All right, because they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. They had those creations created for them because they have no God, man. You see? Matter of fact, let's grab that real quick. All right, this is Wisdom of Solomon 8. This is Wisdom of Solomon 8. And it says, give me 1 second, hold on. Give me 1 second. Might not even be 8. Might be it's 13, Salakia. It's 13. It says, surely vain are all men by nature who are ignorant of Yahweh and cannot out of the good things that are seen known that is. Neither by considering the works did they acknowledge the work master. You see, they didn't acknowledge the work master of these things, man. The creator of all things. All right. Remember, the Lord said, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and make evil, man. So the Lord created these things, man. All right. Let's grab that real quick. I form the light and create darkness. KJV. This is Isaiah 45 and 7. And it says, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord Yahweh, do all these things. You see? So the Lord is what created, all right, all these different idols, man, for these other nations, because they have no God. There is no salvation for them. There is no repentance. You see? When we go to the kingdom, they still gonna be worshiping on their bullshit God. Well, actually not. They're gonna actually fall into line and they're gonna be worshiping YAHAWAH'S Salaki on that. All right? They're gonna worship YAHAWAH'S, man. They're gonna have to follow the law, statutes, and commandments. Okay, and when they come out of line, all right, the Lord going, put the spirit on us to do what we do. Okay. But see, while they're here, all right, they have no God, they have no power. So that's why the Lord allowed them, all right, to have these different idols. All right. As a matter of fact, to go with that, Wisdom of Solomon, the 12th chapter. This is Wisdom of Solomon 12:1. For thy incorruptible spirit is in all things. Okay. Matter of fact, hold on. Grab something real quick. Salakia. For the devising of idols, KJV. It's 14. 14. I'm thinking about a different scripture. This is 14, but I'm gonna grab Wisdom of Solomon 12 also. All right. This is Wisdom of Solomon 12 and well, let's take that from the top. All right. It says again, one preparing himself to sail and about to pass through the raging waves, called upon a piece of wood more rotten than the vessel that carrieth him. For verily desire of gain devised that, and the workman built it by his skill. But thy providence, O Father, governeth it. For thou hast made a way in the sea and a safe path in the waves, showing that thou canst save from all danger. Yeah, though a man went to sea without art, it says, nevertheless, thou wouldest not that the works of thy wisdom shall be idle. And therefore do men commit their lives to a small piece of wood, and passing through the rough sea in a weak vessel are saved. For in the old time also, when the proud giants perished, the hope of the world governed by the hand escaped in a weak vessel, and left to all ages a seed of generation. For blessed is the wood whereby righteousness cometh, but that which is made with hands is cursed, as well as he that made it. He, because he made it, and it, because being corruptible, it was called God. For the ungodly and his ungodliness are both alike hateful unto Yahweh. For that which is made shall be punished together with them that made it. Therefore, even upon the idols of the Gentiles shall there be a visitation, because in the creature of Yahweh they are become an abomination and stumbling blocks to the souls of men, and snare to the feet of the unwise, man. You see? So these things have become stumbling blocks onto our people at the end of the day, man. All these different types of gods, all right? All right, all these different types of material gods that cannot speak, that are dumb, all right, that are deaf, they're blind. They stand in one spot, man, and they do nothing. And you look stupid as hell sitting in a damn church, man, praising this damn thing, man, or having a shrine to them in your damn home. All right. Again, the Lord, all right, has made promises, man. The Lord has actually manifested himself. What the hell has these idols done for you? Nothing. You see? It says, for the dividing, Salakia, it says, for the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the intervention of, Salakia, in the invention of them, the corruption of life. Okay? You see? Going all the way back, man, to when we started worshiping these different idols, man. It was already the corruption of our life. It was made for our destruction. You see, all these Canaanite gods, all right, all these Canaanite ways, all their rituals was made for our destruction, man. Because you truly not believed in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai after he gave you the fact, all right, that he gave you a manual to follow by, man. He gave you all the jewels to follow him and worship him in the correct manner, all right, and you still chose to worship these different idols, man. You see, look, when the law, statutes, and commandments were being written, right? When you had Moses on Mount Sinai, man, what was our people doing out there, man? Down at the bottom of the mountain, man. They were out there making worshiping idols, man. Giving up their gold, giving up their earrings to create a calf, man, a cow, all right, of gold. You see? And what did Moses have to do? Moses had to basically ask the Lord to repent from it, man, because he was about to destroy them. You see? But see, in this time, we ain't asking the Lord to repent, man. We want the Lord to take y'all each and one of y'all out the way for a reason, man. Because you didn't get it back then. You didn't get it, throughout the different reincarnations you were in, and you still don't get it to this day. You know? So it's very well needed that you be taken out of the way. You have to you have to go through death and pain, man, and be retaught, all right, coming out of the loins of the elect. You see, having the inward, the law, statutes, and commandments in our inward parts. You see? So it says, for the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them the corruption of life. For neither were they from the beginning, neither shall they be forever. For by the vain glory of men they entered into the world. Okay, yeah, because you could thank Esau for that, man. Esau, let's grab that real quick. This is Romans 1 and this is 1 and 23, right? Take it from 21. It says, because that when they knew Yahweh, they glorified him not as Yahweh, not as power, neither were they thankful, but became vain in their own imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible power into an image made like to corruptible man, and to birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things. You see? Wherefore Yahweh also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves, man. Who changed the truth of Yahweh into a lie, and worshipped and served the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. You see? So, you had these other nations that were creating these gods, right? Had us worshiping them. But then you had Esau eventually, right? That will go and follow after all these other nations and grab all those different types of idols, man, and put them right before our face, man. To the point where he has us so lost and all these different types of idols that there's thousands of religions now. There's thousands of idols. You see? And he has changed, the image of Yahweh into these images of four-footed beasts, creeping things, have you worshiping, he'll have you worshiping a damn tree, man. He'll have you worshiping a sign if you let him. Okay? Because we the ones that had that God gene, man. So we're made to worship something. But see, the Lord said that they have a zeal for God, but not according to knowledge. And because my people are destroyed from the lack of knowledge, right? And they have rejected knowledge, the Lord has rejected them. Okay? Because they don't want to bother to learn about the true power. So they go out there and they follow after whatever they see, man. See, our people are hard-headed, man. They don't want to be they don't want to be leaders. Okay, they want to be followers, man. They follow after all these heathen in their perverted ways, man. They follow after Esau, Edom all day long, but they won't follow after the ways of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. You see? They don't want to follow after the ways that the prophets are teaching them, man, to turn from wickedness to righteousness. You see? They love doing these things, man. They think it's a joke. See, but it's all fun and games till the Lord comes and judges, man. It's all fun and games till the Lord start making these people drop like flies. Then when they on their backs and they half dead, now they want to look up to the sky and they want to, oh God, please help me. If there's a God, save me. That's when the Lord's gonna look at you and say, what, man? Go and worship the gods which you have chosen. You see, and let them help you and save you in the time of your tribulation. Why? Because you have forsaken the power, man, the true power. Right? So going back to Wisdom of Solomon 14, all right, it says, therefore, even upon the idols of the Gentiles, Salakia, I was down more. I'll read it from there anyway. Therefore, even upon the idols of the Gentiles shall there be a visitation, because in the creature of Yahweh, they are become an abomination and a stumbling block to the souls of men and a snare to the feet of the unwise. For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them the corruption of life. For neither were they from the beginning, neither shall they be forever. For by the vainglory of men they entered into the world, and therefore shall they come shortly to an end. All right, and the Lord is ending all that shit right now, man. You see, the Lord shows you every single day that none of these religions are the ones, that none of these gods and idols that you have are saving you, because you see people dropping every single day. Judgment is coming out every single day. Every morning does the Lord bring judgment to the light. And you hear these people calling on Jesus. You hear people calling on their idols, and nothing is happening. You got people that thought the rapture was about to come about. And look, there ain't no rapture. I don't see no rapture. I still see destruction of the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai being played out. I still see prophecy, all right, that's in these scriptures being played out. I don't see no form of rapture, all right, happening right in front of your eyes. You have people about a couple months ago that were selling their fucking homes, you know, giving up their money, giving up everything because they literally thought that the rapture was coming, thinking that Jesus was about to come. Where the hell do you see this damn nigga? Nowhere. Because he don't exist. You see? But what the men of the Lord are preaching through the spirit of prophecy, I see that happening every single day. See, these people can't see it because their eyes are not open to it. They don't have the eyes to see, the ears to hear. You see? If Jesus was so real, where's the saving? If Allah was so real, why the hell we not up out of here yet? Okay? If Buddha was so real, okay, where the hell is he today? Nowhere. You see all these nations that have all these different gods, they're catching straight hell. They're being destroyed little by little. Earthquakes, whirlwinds, tempests of storms, you know? They're dying by diseases. Okay? And these people are still calling upon their gods, all right? And nothing is happening. All I see is the judgment of the Lord, man. Showing you that none of these gods are real. As a matter of fact, let me grab this. This is because you had Elijah, all right. This is 1 Kings 18. Let me get just straight to the point. Give me 1 second. Let me just see where I want to start from. All right, let me take it from, I'll take it from 17, right? 14. And now thou sayest, go tell thy Lord, behold, Elijah is here, and he shall slay me. And Elijah said, as the Lord of hosts liveth, before whom I stand, I will surely show myself unto him today. So Obadiah went to meet Ahab and told him, and Ahab went to meet Elijah. And it came to pass when Ahab saw Elijah, that Ahab said unto him, art thou he that troubleth Israel? And he answered, I have not troubled Israel, but thou and thy father's house, and that ye have forsaken the commandments of Yahweh, and thou hast followed Balaam. Okay, going into Baal, right? Now therefore send and gather to me all Israel onto Mount Carmel, and the prophets of Baal 450, and the prophets of the groves 400, which eat at Jezebel's table. So Ahab sent unto all the children of Israel, and gathered the prophets together unto Mount Carmel. And Elijah came unto all the people and said, how long halt ye between two opinions? If the Lord Yahweh be power, follow him. But if Baal, then follow him. And the people answered him not a word. Then said Elijah unto the people, I, even I only, remain a prophet of the Lord Yahweh, but Baal's prophets are 450 men. Let them therefore give us 2 bullocks, and let them choose 1 bullock for themselves, and cut it in pieces, and lay it on wood, and put no fire under. And I will dress the other bullock, and lay it on wood, and put no fire under. And call ye the name of your gods, and I will call on the name of the Lord Yahweh. And the power that answereth by fire, let him be power. And all the people answered and said, it is well spoken. And Elijah said unto the prophets of Baal, choose 1 bullock for yourselves, and dress it first, for ye are many. And call on the name of your gods, but put no fire under. And they took the bullock which was given them, and they dressed it, and called on the name of Baal from morning until evening, until noon, saying, O Baal, hear us. But there was no voice, nor any that answered. And they leaped upon the altar which was made. And it came to pass at noon that Elijah mocked them, and said, cry aloud, for he is a god. Either he is talking, or he is pursuing, or he is on a journey, or peradventure he sleepeth and must be awaked. And they cried aloud, and cut themselves after the manner with knives and lancets, till the blood gushed out upon them. And it came to pass, when midday was past, that they prophesied to the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice, that there was neither voice, nor any to answer, nor any that regarded. And Elijah said unto the people, come near unto me. And all the people came near unto him, and he repaired the altar of the Lord Yahweh that was broken down. And Elijah took 12 stones, took 12 stones, according to the number of the tribes of the sons of Jacob, and unto whom the word of the Lord Yahweh came, saying, Israel shall be thy name. And with the stones he built an altar in the name of the Lord Yahweh, and he made a trench about the altar as great as would contain 2 measures of seed. And he put the wood in order, and cut the bullock in pieces, and laid him on the wood, and said, fill 4 barrels with water, and pour it on the burnt sacrifice on the wood. And he said, do it the second time. And he did it on the second time. And he said, do it a third time. And then they did it the third time. And the water ran around about the altar, and he filled the trench also with water. And it came to pass that at the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice, that Elijah the prophet came near and said, Lord Yahweh, power of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known this day that thou art power in Israel, and that I am thy servant, and that I have done all these things at thy word. Hear me, O Yahweh, hear me, that this people may know that thou art the power, Yahweh, and that thou hast turned their hearts back again. Then the fire of the Lord fell and consumed the burnt sacrifice, and the wood, and the stones, and the dust, and it licked up the water, that was in the trench. And when all the people saw it, they fell on their faces and they said, the Lord Yahweh, he is the power. The Lord Yahweh, he is the power. You see? So showing you that none of them damn idols that they were worshiping, all right, were real, man. He started mocking their power, man. You know what's funny as hell is like I done cursed a couple of these Christians out with their little nonsense, man. All right. And the funniest thing is when I tell them, you know, pretty much F Jesus. Ain't nobody care about that shit. All right. And they're like, oh my God. Oh my God. He's gonna destroy you. Watch. Nigga, I'm still here. I'm still here standing. You know? I done said that shit to a whole bunch of them already, man. You know, and you know, we ain't gotta get out of character like that, but some of these people just be so stupid and so dumbfounded into their own little warped minds, man, that you gotta talk to them like that to show them that shit don't exist, man. It's such a stronghold upon those people, man. You see? Matter of fact, let's grab another one. They're giving me the thought of you gotta go into Bel the Dragon, right? Bel and the Dragon. That's a short chapter. I'll read that chapter real quick. This is right. So this is, it says, and the king of Tigers, right, was gathered to his fathers, and Cyrus of Persia received his kingdom. And it says, and Daniel conversed with the king and was honored above all his friends. Now the Babylons had an idol called Bel, and there were spent unto him every day 12 great measures of fine flour and 40 sheep, and 6 vessels of wine. And the king worshipped it and went daily to adore it, but Daniel worshipped his own power. And the king said unto him, why dost thou worship Bel? Who answered and said, because I may not worship idols, right? Oh, Salaki, hold on. It says, who answered and said, because I may not worship idols made with hands, but the living power, who has created the heaven and earth and has sovereignty over all flesh. Then said the king unto him, thinkest thou not that Bel is a living God? Seest thou not how much he eateth and drinketh every day? Then Daniel smiled and said, O king, be not deceived, for this is but clay within and brass without, and did not eat or drink anything. So the king was wroth and called his priests and said unto them, if ye tell me not who this is that devoureth these expenses, ye shall die. But if ye can certify me that Bel devoureth them, then Daniel shall die. For he has spoken blasphemy against Bel. And Daniel said unto the king, let it be according to thy word. Now the priests of Bel were 70, besides their wives and children, and the king went with Daniel into the temple of Bel. So Bel's priest said, lo, we go out, but thou, O king, set on the meat and make ready the wine and shut the door fast and seal it with thine own signet. And tomorrow when thou comest in, if thou findest not that Bel has eaten up all, we will suffer death, or else Daniel that speaketh falsely against us. And they little regarded it, for under the table they had made a privy entrance, whereby they entered in continually and consumed, right? It said they, hold on, continually and consumed those things. So when they were gone forth, the king set meat before Bel. Now Daniel had commanded his servants to bring ashes, and those they strewed throughout all the temple in the presence of the king alone. Then went they out and shut the door and sealed it with the king's signet, and so departed. Right? So he go to set up, right? Here it is that they're talking about, all right, Bel the dragon eats and he drinks everything that's offered onto him. And Daniel, remember, Daniel was wise, man. All right. He put a whole bunch of ashes because he knew that they were coming in through a little privy, a little entrance that they had created, right, to go over there and eat. Okay, what was put out as an offering onto their God, man. All right, so the Lord gave him. The Lord had given him the intelligence to think something through, man, to come out with a plot, all right, against this damn devil, right? And it says, Salakia, it says, so when they were gone forth, the king set meats before Bel. Now Daniel had commanded his servants to bring ashes, and those they strewed throughout all the temple in the presence of the king alone. Then went they out and shut the door and sealed it with the king's signet, and so departed. Now in the night came the priests with their wives and children, as they were wont to do, and did eat and drink up all. In the morning betime the king arose, and Daniel with him. And the king said, Daniel, are the seals whole? And he said, yeah, O king, they be whole. And as soon as they had opened the door, the king looked upon the table and cried with a loud voice, great art thou, O Bel, and with thee is no deceit at all. Then laughed Daniel and held the king that he should not go in, and said, behold, now the pavement and mark well whose footsteps are these. And the king said, I see the footsteps of men, women, and children. And then the king was angry and took the priests with their wives and children, who showed him the privy doors where they came in, and consumed such things as were upon the table. Therefore the king slew them and delivered Bel into Daniel's power, who destroyed him in his temple. And in that same place there was a great dragon which they of Babylon worship. And the king said unto Daniel, wilt thou also say that this is of brass? Lo, he liveth, he eateth and drinketh. Thou canst not say that there is no living power. Therefore worship him. Then said Daniel unto the king, I will worship the Lord my power, YAHAWAH'S, for he is the living power. But give me leave, O king, and I shall slay this dragon without sword or staff. The king said, I will give thee leave. Then Daniel took pitch and fat and hair, and did seethe them together, and made lumps thereof. This he put in the dragon's mouth, and so that the dragon burst in sunder. And Daniel said, lo, these are the gods ye worship. When they of Babylon heard that, they took great indignation and conspired against the king, saying, the king is become a Jew, and he has destroyed Bel. He has slain the dragon and put the priest to death. So they came to the king and said, deliver us, Daniel, or else we will destroy thee in thine house. Now the king saw that they pressed him sore. Being constrained, he delivered Daniel unto them, who cast him into the lion's den, where he was 6 days. And in the den there were 7 lions. They had given them every day 2 carcasses and 2 sheep, which then were not given to them, to the intent that they might devour Daniel. Now there was in the jury a prophet called Habakkuk, who made pottage and had broken bread in a bowl, and was going into the field for to bring into the reapers. But the angel of the Lord YAHAWAH'S said unto Habakkuk, go carry the dinner that thou hast into Babylon unto Daniel, who is in the lion's den. And Habakkuk said, Lord YAHAWAH'S, I never saw Babylon, neither do I know where the den is. Then the angel of the Lord YAHAWAH'S took him by the crown and bare him by the hair of his head, and through the vehemency of his spirit set him in Babylon over the den. And Habakkuk cried, saying, O Daniel, Daniel, take the dinner which Yahweh has sent thee. And Daniel said, thou hast remembered me, O Yahweh, neither hast thou forsaken them that seek thee and love thee. So Daniel arose and did eat, and the angel of the Lord YAHAWAH'S set Habakkuk in his own place again immediately. Man, that show you how the Lord gonna be doing miracles for us in these last days, man. See, that's why we're not gonna worry when we put into you know, into prison, when we're put in, you know, when we don't have food, you know, when we don't have nothing to drink, man, the Lord gonna be doing all types of miracles on a whole nother level, man. This is why everything written aforetime is written for our learning, man. You see? So it says, oh shit. It says, and Daniel said that, Salaka. So Daniel arose and did eat, and the angel of the Lord YAHAWAH'S set Habakkuk in his own place again immediately. Upon the seventh day, the king went to bewail Daniel, and when he came to the den, he looked, and behold, Daniel was sitting. Then cried the king with a loud voice, saying, great are YAHAWAH'S power of Daniel, and there is none other beside thee. And he drew him out and cast those that were the cause of his destruction into the den, and they were devoured in a moment before his face, man. You see? So it just goes to show you, man, none of these gods of this world, all right, are real. None of these gods are going to be able to save you and give you salvation, man. The only true power that exists is Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, man. Okay? And he is the creator of all these gods. Okay, of all these different religions for a reason. All right. One, because these other nations don't have no God. All right. Two, because he does it to test those that really are of Israel, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, right? He does it to test to see if they really are about Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, man. See, the Lord has a small remnant that's not going to bow down to the knee, not going to bow their knee down to Baal, man. All right. And that 7,000 goes into a what? It goes into a complete number. The number 7 represents completion. You see? So he only has 1/3, all right, of our people, 33.3% of our people that's really going to truly believe in the spirit. All right. But 66.6% of our people are not going to believe, man. And that's why the Lord said that 2/3 of our people shall be cut off and die in the land, man. You see? And that's what you're starting to see here now, man. All right. Judgment is beginning at the house of Israel. Okay. And once it comes to the house of Israel, it's going to come to the rest of these heathens, man. You see? Because they are nothing but spittle unto the Lord. All right. Them and their gods. Okay. So let's go back to Wisdom of Solomon, the 14th chapter, right? So it goes to verse 12. It says, for the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them the corruption of life. For neither were they from the beginning, neither shall they be forever. For by the vainglory of men they entered into the world, and therefore shall they come shortly to an end. For a father afflicted with untimely mourning, when he has made an image of his child, soon taken away, now honored him as a god, which was then a dead man, and delivered to those that were under him ceremonies and sacrifices. And you see that a lot happening today, man. You see a lot of our people, man. You're not supposed to tat no names on your body, you know, of the dead. You know, you got people that when people die, you know, they want to carry the ashes. They want to take the ashes home, you know, put it on a shrine on the top of a fucking cabinet, china cabinet, right? They be praying to it every night like it's a god. What the hell is you praying to, man? First of all, that ain't even ashes of the person that was dead. I'm gonna tell you that from the beginning. You see? Because these morticians and these morgues, right? They be lying, man. They'll tell you that they gave you a bunch of ashes, man. But that shit ain't no ashes of the people that you thought were dead. You know? I mean, the people that died. They just gave you a bunch of ashes of whatever the hell they put in there. All they're trying to do is make money off of you, man. You see? So, you know, you got people that really do that. You know, Northern Kingdom is heavy on that, man. All right. When they die, they want to have their ashes, you know, they want to keep a piece of something. And they worship it every day. Oh, he's watching over me in the heavens. You know, I see him in my dreams. I talk to him every day. Nah, man, that's bullshit. All right. When you die, man, your spirit go back to the spirit world and that's it. Okay. Your body's supposed to be buried in the ground. All right. And it's supposed to go and deteriorate with the earth, man. To ashes you return. That's it. You were created from the ground. You return onto the ground. And you turn into ashes and you become one with the ground. That's it. okay? And your spirit goes back to the Heavenly Father, which is the Father of all spirits, right? And then after that, when it's time, after 3 or 4 generations, roughly around 120 years, right? You come back in reincarnation, the Lord puts you back in another body. Plain and simple. You see, it's in the scriptures. There's plenty of scriptures that tell you about reincarnation, man. But see, these are the things that these Canaanite gods, all right, have taught you in time, man. You know, all these different philosophies of the world, right? So continuing on, 16, it says, thus in process of time, an ungodly custom grown strong was kept as a law, and graven images were worshipped by the commandments of kings, whom men could not honor in presence because they dwelt far off. They took the counterfeit of his visage from far and made an express image of a king whom they honored, to the end that by this their forwardness they might flatter him that was absent as if he were present. Also, the singular diligence of the artificer did help to set forward the ignorant to more superstition. Yeah, and that's why, all right, those that create the idols, man, all right, and help create these things, you're also going to be destroyed in a horrible manner, man. Okay? Because you're not supposed to be an artificer, man. Okay? Here it is. You are making these idols onto the rest of these people for them to believe it. So you're just as much trouble than they are, man, that actually worship and believe in these idols. Okay? Matter of fact, when I was making, I still make them, but when I was making staffs for brothers, I had this one guy, he tried to play me out, and I felt it through the spirit too. He was cool as hell and everything, but see, you got to understand how Satan come, man. Satan come in a weird way sometimes, all right? And the one guy was always buying mad necklaces off of me, right? But one day he comes up to me and he tells me, yo, I need you to make me a staff, because he liked the staffs that I made. And I was down for it. You know, I was about to charge him like $400 for it, right? And then all of a sudden he came with a blueprint of the staff itself. See, when I make staffs out of through the spirit, man. You just tell me what you want, right? And I'm gonna make it at the end of the day, you know. But when you giving me an actual blueprint, yeah, see, now you trying to set me up and make me an artificer of something that's wicked. And I felt it through the spirit, because he wanted a particular type of staff. He wanted a staff that was made with a curve on it. You know, it looked like almost like one of them staffs from bro, stop taking pictures, bro. I see you. All right. He wanted a staff that looked like some Lord of the Rings shit. All right. And then he wanted me to wrap nothing but copper over it, right, from the top to the bottom. And then he wanted me to put an actual crystal ball on the top of it. And then he wanted one on the bottom. And then he wanted 12 different stones in between it, you know, basically all tied around with the actual copper, man. And the more I kept looking at it, you know, something kept feeling funny in my spirit, man. And I was like, oh, hell nah, man. I had to basically go tell the guy, I was like, listen, bro, I fucks with you and all that, but I'm not making this for you. He got sad. And something told me, if he gets sad about it, he was trying to set me up. If he don't get sad about it, and just be like, all right, bro, do whatever you want to it. Because I said, I'll do what you want, but I'm going to do it my way. I'm not going according to your blueprint. You know what I'm saying? And the spirit had me, you know, feeling like, all right, if he gets mad at it, it's because he's trying to set me up through the spirit, you know, without him even realizing. He didn't even realize he had a demon on him at that time, man. But come to find out that he wanted it so he could put it down to the earth and get energy from the earth. And then when I looked up some shit, right, on the internet, I came to find out that it goes back to being a stick of the dead type shit. You know, people that were, you know, into witchcraft, okay, will have sticks like that, man, and try to, you know, draw energy from the earth, you know. Now, I would have been put to death for doing some shit like that, man, because I would have been the artificer, you see. I'm the one that's making and creating it for this damn devil, you know. And here it was, we knew each other for a minute. I had to cut him off. I was never friends with him again. And it's weird too, because he hit me up about Matter of fact, the day, the same day, which was weird, the same day that my son had passed, all right, he had hit me up that same exact day. It was weird as hell, man. And he was like, "Hey, what's going on, bro? Just checking in, want to make sure you're all right, and we should go get a cup of coffee and all that shit." And I was like, man, through the spirit, I felt, I was like, nah, I ain't messing with you, bro. You already messed that all up. I ain't never make a necklace for him again. I ain't make nothing for him. I can't mess with you when you do things like that, man. And I don't know if he knew what he was really trying to do. Again, Satan jump on these people, man, and give them thoughts, wicked thoughts to do things like that. You see? And he was basically trying to set me up through the spirit, man. So we got to watch what we do. There's always some type of spiritual fornication that's being done, through the eyes of men. All right, especially people that are in this truth, man, because these demons know us, man. All right, these demons know who we are. You go into the story of the sons of Siva. All right, they were out there watching Paul and YAHAWAH'S making miracles, and then they tried to go out there and make miracles just like Paul and YAHAWAH'S in the same name, right? But the demons came out and told them what? They said, YAHAWAH'S and Paul I know, all right, but who are you? So these demons know exactly who we are, man. These demons are always trying to find a way to make us go off. I could get in a car right now and the demon will jump on somebody and try to make them hit my car. You see? That's the spiritual wickedness in high places that we got to deal with on a daily basis. That's why you have to be rooted and grounded in this truth, so you can be able to discern these things when they come upon you. All right. And then you don't get set up with an okie doke. All right. Next thing you know, you just worshiping something in front of your power, man. And now your power is a jealous power, right? And he'll go out there and he'll destroy you for that. You see? So you got to be careful. All right. So going back to Wisdom of Solomon 14 and what was it? 18. Also, the singular diligence of the artificer did help to set forward the ignorant to more superstition. All right. For he peradventure will willingly to please one in authority, forced as his skill to make the resemblance of the best fashion. See, that's why I brought that up, because as I'm reading this, that's exactly what it reminded me of. You see, this nigga he wanted me to do it in the best fashion by giving me a blueprint, okay, and make me. Matter of fact, let me see if I still got this damn blueprint. I might have this shit in my pictures, yo. Let me see something real quick. I'm almost positive I have this in my pictures. Give me 1 second. I'm not gonna look too much for it. If I don't find it right where I think it's at, it's all right. This is hold on. I mean, look, I didn't find it in my pictures. I'm just gonna look one more place in the messages he sent, because it should be in my messages. Yeah, here goes his messages right here. If I got this picture, y'all gonna see this picture, and y'all gonna be like, "Oh hell yeah, he was definitely trying to set your ass up." Yep, I got it right here. Oh, that's the spirit. Look at this shit. Oh, hold on. Oh, damn. He's got like a shadow in front of it. If you could see it, tell me that don't look like some witchcraft damn stick right there, man. You see? The curls on it, the way it's curved, and everything, He got a whole bunch of he got a bunch of measurements to it. He wanted a certain type of measurement. You see? That's wicked right there, man. Without him knowing through the spirit, he was trying to set me up. And at that time, I was teaching him about the truth. Me and him used to have a lot of conversations about the truth, and I was just trying to speak to him through the spirit and teach him, But he was one that I was doing, brother. He was one of them that will listen, But he was too caught up in his in his earthly ways, man. All right. He was one that worshipped the ground, the earth. I'm one with the wind. Nigga thought he was Captain Planet. Earth, wind, fire. You know? But yeah, that shit is wicked as hell, man. So you got to be careful who you surrounded around, man. All right. So let's continue. All right. So it says, for he peradventure, back at 19 and 14 in Wisdom of Solomon, for he peradventure willing to please one in authority, forced at all his skill to make the resemblance of the best fashion. And so the multitude, allured by the grace of the work, took him now for a god, which a little before was but honored as a man. And this was an occasion to deceive the world, for men serving either calamity or tyranny did ascribe unto stones and stocks the incommunicable name. Moreover, this was not enough for them, that they erred in the knowledge of Yahweh, but whereas they lived in the great war of ignorance, those so great plagues called they peace. For whilst they slew their children in sacrifices, or used secret ceremonies, or made revelings of strange rites, they kept neither lives nor marriages any longer undefiled, but either one slew another traitorously or grieved him by adultery. Yeah, and you see that today, man. All right. Going back to what we was talking about, these celebrities, man. That's what these celebrities do on the low, man. All right. They're into heavy paganistic rituals, you know, having secret orgies and shit. You know, they into heavy bestiality. Okay. They out there involved with necromancy, you know, necromancy going into them, you know, smashing dead bodies, man. You know, covered in blood. A perfect example. That's why the Lord judged DMX. DMX was into that. He got that one song, right? And he got that one song in that one album called Flesh of My Flesh and Blood of My Blood, right? One of his lyrics was, he said, what did he say? Damn, let me grab up the lyrics real quick. Oh, he said, I got blood on my hands and there's no remorse. I got blood on my DICK because I fucked the corpse. Come on, man. I'm a nasty nigga. When you look me in my eye, yo, listen, man. They tell you these things right in front of their music, man. All right? That whole album was bugged out. I remember I used to love that album, man. Sitting there singing that shit all day long, you know, thinking he was hard. Meanwhile, he was wicked as hell. That's why the Lord judged him. He came across the truth a couple times, and he kind of knew somewhat. He didn't run into the right brothers, you see, but he ran into the house of Israel, HOI, okay, and he, you know, they kind of told him the name, and what did he do? He went back into the world, man. Twice he ran into them, and they told him to repent, come back to the word of the Lord, right? And he went back into making his music. That's why he was always bugged out. And see, he had a zeal for God, but not according to knowledge, man. You know? But yeah, you had that whole song, man. I can picture why he even came up with them lyrics, man. And it makes sense now because that's what he was doing. Remember, these rappers, when we're rappers, I used to be a rapper in the world thinking I was somebody, right? I would write what I saw around me. You see? So he was writing what he saw around him, but on the high level, man, on the left-hand side, the wicked level. When these people make it to the top of the game, man, they're gonna see things that you're not gonna see on a normal basis down here as a regular person. You see? So he was literally having sex with dead bodies, man. That's wicked as hell. Okay? And that's why his album cover was him in a bathtub, all right, dripped with hella blood on him, man. Because it was a blood sacrifice that he had did. You know? To the point where the Lord bugged him out. Why you think he started smoking crack, man? All them demons. See, all these celebrities, man, every single one of these celebrities, that's why they party hard. That's why they party all day, all night. That's why they got shades on all the time. They put the most, you know, flyers and designer shades on to cover their eyes of their fear that they have inside them. And these people don't sleep, you know. They got a whole bunch of demons on them, all right, that when if they even try to close their eyes and try to sleep, it's a wrap. Them demons gonna come and attack them in their sleep and their dreams. They waking up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. They don't even want to go to sleep because they know they're gonna wake up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, man. Which is that's a witch's hour. A lot of witchcraft and sorceries be done around that time. Okay? Especially around this type of time, when it's the winter solstice, you know. The Illuminati got a calendar, man. You got to look it up. All right. There's a whole Illuminati calendar of these elites where every month they do certain type of rituals. You know, right now we're in the middle of the winter solstice, so their rituals are high. Okay. Matter of fact, let me see if I can bring that up. Because we're in the month of December, right? I mean, November going into December. Illuminati bloodline calendar of rituals. Let me see what comes up, right? Oh, this might be one right here. Let me see. Yeah, this is one of them. All right, and the birthdays is the most the most highest satanic holy day that they have. Man, I only want to call it a holy day. All right, but their birthdays is the most satanic day. See, that's why you're not supposed to worship any. That's why you're not supposed to have birthdays, man. That's why you're not supposed to celebrate your birthday. You see, because when you celebrate your birthday, you're making a worship to the Queen of Heaven. All right. As a matter of fact, it tells you that in let me grab this. This is Jeremiah 7 and 18, and it says Judah's persistent idolatry. Right. This is 16. It says, therefore, pray not thou for this people, neither lift up cry nor prayer for them. All right, because you had Jeremiah that was crying for them, trying to throw prayers up to these people, man. But the Lord said, don't lift up no cry for them. Don't pray for these people. These people wicked as hell. You know, that's why we're not supposed to pray for none of these 2/3. All right, because they're all rebellious toward the Lord, and rebellion is sin and witchcraft. Okay, it says, pray not thou for these people, neither lift up cry nor prayer for them, neither make intercession to me, for I will not hear them. Hear thee, Salakia. Seest thou not what they do in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem? The children gather wood, and the fathers kindle the fire, and the women knead their dough to make cakes to the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings onto other gods, that they may provoke me to anger. You see? So, you know, that's the type of shit that our people be doing, man. You know? The Lord said in the book of Job, all right? Let me see. This is Job. This is Ecclesiastes 7 and 1. And it says, a good name is better than a precious ointment, and the day of death is better than the day of one's birth. Okay? Why? Because you're not supposed to be celebrating no birthdays, man. That's a wicked, satanic holiday. Okay? For you to celebrate your birthday. What are you celebrating for, man? You're conceived in sin, one, all right, and we're in a place of slavery. So why would you celebrate your birthday for? You see? And then when you take your birthday, right, what it really does is a ritual because you're grabbing a cake, and what do you put on that cake? Okay, you're putting candles on that cake. All right, for you to make a ritual happen, all right, according to these damn satanic witch sorcery witchcraft books, right? In order for you to get a ritual going, you have to grab a bunch of candles and put it inside a circle. Okay, so why is it that birthday cakes come in a circle and then you put the candle in front of it, man? All right, and then you singing the actual birthday song is a whole ritual song, man. Then when you blow out the candle, that's a whole nother ritual. You see? That's why when people have birthdays, they have a whole bunch of shit happen to them that whole week after, or maybe the next day. You got a lot of people who die right on their birthdays, or die the next day after their birthday. That's because the Lord judging you, man. Shalom, Malak, Yahweh, Shem, Yahweh, Shah, Barakatah. Right? Uh, Job, one's birth, KJV. The phrase job of one's birth likely refers. Then there's another one in Job. I want to say it's 14. Let me see. It's good. Nah, I know it's somewhere in Job. If somebody know it, I can put it up. All right, but at the end of the day, all right, you're not supposed to celebrate no birthdays, man. That's a whole pagan ritual. All right, and that's a satanic Illuminati ritual. All right, again, going into that Illuminati list, that's one of their main. The day of one's birth, KJV, Job. Oh, there you go. This is Job, Job 3 and 3. It says, "Let the day perish wherein I was born, and that in the night in which it was said, there is a man child conceived." You see? So let the day perish of the day that you were born, man. Why would you celebrate the day of your of you being born, man? You're brought into a shitty, crooked ass world, okay? Abominated world at that, okay? And at the end of the day, all right, you're celebrating for nothing because you man that is born of a woman, all right, is full of days. His days are full of trouble, man. Especially you being an Israelite, man. The moment you're born as an Israelite and they know that you're an Israelite, they're trying to kill you out here, man. That's why from birth, before you even come out your mother's womb, man, they're trying to find ways to for you to perish, man, for you to be taken out the way, poison you all types of poisons, you know, sticking you all types of needles and shit. So why would you celebrate the day of your birth, right? Let's go back to that calendar, right? I just want to grab what they have going on in November and because the most wicked time, all right, is from Halloween going into Thanksgiving, then going into Christmas, and then going into actual New Year's Eve, man. Those are the most satanic days and months, all right, for these damn devils, right? So it says, look, New Year's Day, the Druid feast day, right? January 7th, right after New Year's Eve, requires a blood ritual, male sacrificed. You know, the 17th of January, sexual rituals, preparation for hold on real quick. Let me go down to where we at. Here we go. Right? So you got from October, right? Around Halloween, you got Samhain, all right, because that's what Halloween really goes into. You got parties, trick or treating, vandalizing, right? And all that shit goes into, in that time they doing all types of, bugged out ritual orgies, man. Okay. You got November 1st goes into the Mexican feast, all right, Issachar, the party of the dead. Okay. You got going down to November, all right. Matter of fact, what's today? The 25th? Tomorrow's the 25th. Look, tomorrow it says Persephone, which goes into worship of wheel goddess of the underworld. Okay. The 29th, it goes into the sons of Saturn. Satan's sons, Jupiter, Neptune, Pluto. You see that? They start worshiping all these stars. Okay. You go to get married in the church, make a covenant with the heathen. You putting on a ring on your woman. That's a worship of Saturn, man, which is a satanic ritual. Okay, putting on a ring of Saturn. That's what the rings of Saturn represent. Okay, you got and this one, and what's crazy is that they actually, they actually switched these up. Hold on, let me see if I grab a different one. They look like they done switched these up because I had an old one and I should have, it was in my old phone and I lost it. Solstice feast, day, sex, burial rituals. Look at this shit, man. We got satanic revels, sex rituals, dead ark raised, sex rituals. This is all coming up. They do preparation of kidnappings. Yeah, around. That's why you see a lot of children go missing around the Halloween time, man. Because they do a lot of rituals with children, man. It requires them to have sexual relations with a bunch of young children. Maybe it might be a woman baby. It might be a boy. All right. If you think that your favorite rapper or your favorite actor ain't doing that, best believe they doing that, man. All right. For you to make billions of dollars, man, for you to be in a $1 million club, $1 billion club, that's what it requires you to do, man. A bunch of sex paganistic rituals, man. All right. Things that you cannot even imagine. That's why when the time comes that they reveal these, if the Lord allows, all right, because these devils might try to do some false flag to throw you off. All right. So they don't reveal those things. And if they do, they'll reveal them. But because you're so caught up with what's going on in the world, you're going to miss it. It's just going to be brought out real quick and then taken and swept under the rug. But if the Lord reveals, right? All right. When the Lord reveals what these damn politicians is doing behind closed doors, all right, sucking off little babies and shit, chopping them up and eating them up. All right, making all these damn adrenochrome rituals. How you think they make themselves stay looking young? Why you think when they can't find no children, they start looking old as hell and they start looking like death? All right, because they're not getting their hands on any children. All right. Let me see. Damn, man, I wish I had that one exact one I'm looking for. Because they'll go into the one I used to have goes into detail. Like literally into detail. Damn, it's not even letting me go in there. I believe that's the one too. Let me try one more and that's it. Now I keep it moving. Yeah, here we go. You got, this is a better one right here. You got November 4th. They do satanic revels. All right, sex rituals. All right, December 16th to 23, they do preparation of getting ready for rituals and sacrifices, man. The 21st, they do fire festival, great Sabbath. All right, the 22nd, they do sex and burial rituals. The 24th is called the high grand climax. Okay, blood sacrifices often of a baby in a manger, man. See what I mean? These devils doing all types of wicked shit behind closed doors, man. Look, in the February 2nd, sex rituals, female has to be sacrificed from 7 to 17, man. Okay? January 26th, grand climax, human sacrifice, sexual rituals, 5 weeks to a day since the equinox. Has to be 5 weeks old or even a day old. You see what I mean? And this is what your favorite rappers and your favorite actors do on a daily basis, man. For them to have all the money in the world, okay? And what does it tell you? Again, we're gonna bring that out, like we said it earlier. All right, what is the profit of man if he gained the whole world, man, but he loses his soul? You see? And that's what happens. These people become bugged out. All right, they got to party all day and all night. They never sleep. That's why they were always in Diddy parties. Okay, fucking party until 12 o'clock in the afternoon from the night before. You know, they pretty much party every single day until they got to go make a movie. You know, then they get lost in the character of their movie. You know, doing all types of crazy drugs. You know, keeping themselves, you know, in character, so they could actually put. Do you know when they go to play these characters, they got to study these characters to the T. You know, when they were doing the Jeffrey Dahmer, all right, the movie, you had a couple of the actors in there that were saying that they had to play that role so good, right? They had to literally play that role so good that they couldn't even do it no more, because they said that they started to feel like Jeffrey Dahmer. They started to feel like that nigga that it was trying to perform like. You see, look at Heath Ledger. You know, when he went and did the movie Batman, he played the Joker. Why do you think he died after that, man? They said that his ass was so high for that movie to play that role so good, because he played the shit out that role. All right, but he had to do so much, and he had to be so fucked up off of drugs to play that role to perfection. You know, that's the things that these devils do. That's right, Feast of Bloods. Matter of fact, yep, that's the spirit, because that's coming up next. That's right. All right. Matter of fact, let me finish reading that. And Wisdom of Solomon, I'll grab what the brother grabbed. All right. This is Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 23. It says, for whilst they slew their children in sacrifices, or used secret ceremonies, and made revelings of strange rites, they kept neither lives nor marriages any longer undefiled, but either one slew another traitorously, or grieved them by adultery. Right? And that's what they'll do. You'll come into the game thinking that you come in the game to be a celebrity. You thinking that you coming to be a star, you know? Until your ass get to become that star, they'll let you, shine for a little bit. All right. But then what happens is you get your little 5 minutes of shine, your little 5 minutes of fame. But here comes the Illuminati. All right. Well, you shined enough. Would you like to continue? If you don't continue, well, then we just cut you off and you'll be a one-hit wonder, and that's it. And that's why you get people that are one-hit wonders, man. You be like, yo, where the hell did this guy go? He was nice as hell. Like, he had a good-ass song. But that's because their ass wasn't down with the Illuminati, man. So they become nobodies. They stay underground, you know? But when you see your Drakes, you know, the ones that's at the top of the game, your Jay-Z's, okay? Why do you think they've been conquering so long in their music? Because they have to do satanic rituals, man. Why you think this devil what's his name? Jay-Z was so paranoid, man. And the rest of these other rappers were so paranoid when P. Diddy got caught up. Because if he had to expose them, everything was gonna come to the light, man. And see, and then they start trying to, pay off each other. They trying to hide themselves. You can't hide yourselves. The daughters of music are being brought low. Let's grab that real quick. This is Ecclesiastes 12, and the Lord said that would happen, man. 12:3, and it says, in the days when the keepers, actually 4, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. Yeah, employment. Okay. It says, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Yeah, all the daughters of music have been brought low. All right. One being you women that love to sit around and twerk all damn day. All right, y'all being brought low right now. All right, arise and tremble, you women that are at ease. Okay, but that's also a representation of all these celebrities that are making music, man. They're being brought low. They're being exposed along with Esau. Remember, judgment must happen at the house of Israel first. Okay, which is going to be, of those that know the truth first. All right, but also these 2/3, man. These 2/3 are being exposed on a daily basis. Okay, and they are ones that help. Okay, that help the so-called white man and his damn wickedness, all his witchcraft and sorceries. Matter of fact, when you go to Isaiah, all right, Isaiah 30 and 31 and 3, it says, now the Egyptians are men and not God, right? And not Yahweh, not power. And their horse is flesh and not spirit. When the Lord Yahweh shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down, and they shall all fail together. So here it is, this chapter talking about you running to Egypt for help, right? You going to America for help, all right? But see, you got our celebrities that are all so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that are helping this damn devil push the cause, push the witchcraft and the sorceries. You see? So those that help them, all right, they're gonna fall with them too. You got niggas like Rick Ross talk about, oh, I got $1 million bunker. I'm getting myself ready for that bunker. For what? The Lord gonna destroy you in that bunker. The Lord ain't gonna let you survive. You're not the top elites that's gonna be able to when the judgment of the Lord comes with all this thermonuclear power, that you're gonna be able to escape it. The Lord is only gonna keep the top banking families alive, man. All right, because they're gonna be the first fruits of slavery. You see, not because the Lord really want to keep them. The Lord, if it's up to the Lord, he'd destroy every single one of them. But see, the Lord gonna grab their ass, old and everything, the way they look, and gonna put their ass right into slavery, just like that. You're gonna have to clean up the earth. You're gonna have to pick up all the dead bodies, But those that are celebrities that followed after this damn devil, and that you have bunkers just like them, you have the same little escape ways that they have. You're not gonna escape in those ways, man, because you're of Israel. The Lord gonna destroy you with a horrible death, because you help these devils to create the problem, man. You help these devils to push the witchcraft and sorceries, man. See, when this time comes for the RFID, okay, when this thing is made mandatory, who do you think they're gonna have at the forefront of that, man? Your celebrities, your actors. You seen that shit the other day with Nicki Minaj, man. Nicki Minaj coming out making a statement for the president. I appreciate you going out there to Nigeria and helping, and you're doing a great cause. You got niggas like Mayweather, all right? He done sold out to and sucked off the damn the rabbi, so he could continue to keep his money. You got Kanye West done sucked off the rabbi too, you know, to keep himself in the game. You got all these rappers that are apologizing to Massa, okay? Apologizing to the rabbi so they don't, you know, so they don't get cut off on their paycheck. Shows you what type of a spirit our people are in, man. And those are gonna be the same spirits that are used when it comes to them pushing this RFID, man. That they're gonna make it look cool, you know. I think it was Ice Spice that I seen that she had a video when she was paying for things, but with her tongue. With her tongue, she was paying it. She would go up to the damn to where you scan your card, man, and she was putting her tongue right on it, and she was just buying everything through her tongue, showing you that she already has that MARK in her, man, already in her forehead. All right. So let's go back to second Wisdom of Solomon 14. All right, and 23 says, for while they slew their children in sacrifices and used secret ceremonies and made revelings of strange rites, they kept neither lives nor marriages any longer undefiled, but either one slew another traitorously or grieved him by adultery, so that there reigned in all men without exception blood, manslaughter, theft, and dissimulation, corruption, unfaithfulness, tumults, perjury, disquieted of good men, forgetfulness of good turns, defiling of souls, changing of kind, disorder in marriages, adultery, and shameless uncleanness, man. That's what these people do. All right. That's why you see them pushing out men on men, you know, women on women, doing those things that are not convenient, man. Things that are unseemly. Okay. The Lord has given them up into a reprobate mind because they are vile affections, man. All right. Let's grab that real quick in Romans. And this is going back to the same guys that Nimrod was pushing upon the people. Okay. The same Canaanite gods. Right? This is Romans 1 and 20. 24. Wherefore Yahweh also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves. Okay. 26. For this cause Yahweh gave them up to vile affections. For even the women did change the natural use into which is against nature. Yeah, and when you do a vile affections, man, when you commit vile affections like that, all right, the Lord gonna put you to death for that. You're worthy of death. See, but they have pleasure in that. They have pleasure in doing all that wickedness, man. All right. It says, and likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust one toward another. All right. Why? Because a man is supposed to be plowing a woman, man. You're supposed to be being fruitful and multiply, man. How the hell you gonna be multiplying when you got men playing tummy swords with each other, man? When you got women, all right, just sitting there playing with each other, all right, and then the fact that they trying to act like a damn man, putting on strap-ons and shit, okay, that just shows the vile affections that they're into. That shows the demons that they have that have possessed them, okay. It says, it said, men with men working that which is unseemly and receiving themselves the recompense of their error, which was meat. And even as they did not like to retain Yahweh in their knowledge, Yahweh gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient. Okay? Jumping down to 32, who knowing the judgment of Yahweh, that they which commit such things are worthy of death. Not only do their same, but have pleasure in them that do them. You see? So they got pleasure in doing these things, man. All right? Back to what I was saying before. All right, well, that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua creates us in His image, right? But when you worship Him Baal, you worship Ishtar, all right, When you're worshiping Molech, what does it do? It corrupts that image that the Lord has created for you, man. All right? And it reduces you down to what? It reduces you down to the flesh, to spiritual fornication, okay? To the point where you are feeding yourself with pleasure rather than feeding yourself with the spirit, you know? And this is what they continue to keep pushing in your TV, and they're attacking your children with it, man. The children, hey, a children's mind is like a sponge, man, they say, right? That anything you feed it, all right, the golden ages of a child is when they're little. So if you're not teaching them in the correct manner, all right, when your child is seeing all these things being done, that's what they become. But if you teach them the right way, you teach them the scriptures, you teach them about YAHAWAH'S, that child's going to be a righteous child. You see? But that's why we have a bunch of little monsters running around, man. Okay? The women are not being mothers, not keepers at home, not teaching them godly things, you know? You see these daughters running around today, as the scriptures say, as is the daughter, so as is the mother, so is the daughter. You know, these women teach their daughters to be a laughing stock unto the nations. Okay? They teach them to be whores. You be seeing little girls that are fucking 5 years old, man, twerking around everywhere. That's all they know. By 5 years old, all they know is a twerk and a song. All they know, man, listen, man. My wife's family, she got her sister. Her sister wicked as hell. Got her daughter at the age of 6, 7, over there in some little ass dresses, dressing like her, twerking all over the stage for school. See, this is the shit that our people teach our children, man. You know, you got the men that have been demasculated so bad that now you see the men, all right, at the age of 5, 6, they walking around as a whole little transformer, basically, man. Because they done took the father out the household. They father's locked up. They got to grow up around a bunch of women. You know, they grow up around their aunties. You know, growing around 15 grandmas. You know, and that's what's sad about our people, man. That's why the scriptures say they're a sinful nation, laden with iniquity. You know, evildoers, corrupters. Okay, because they have been misled and taught the wrong way. Okay. What's up, bro? You want to learn about yourself, bro? Nah, he ain't ready to learn about himself. Right? Let me see. Let's finish this up in Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 27. It says, for the worshipping of idols not to be named is the beginning, the cause, and the end of all evil. For either they are mad when they be merry, or prophesy lies, or live unjustly, or else lightly forswear themselves. For inasmuch as their trust is in idols, which have no life, though they swear falsely, yet they look not to be hurt. Howbeit, for both causes shall they be justly punished, both because they thought not well of Yahweh, giving heed unto idols, and also unjustly swore in deceit, despising holiness. For it is not the power of them, but by whom they swear, but it is the just vengeance of sinners that punisheth always the offense of the ungodly. You see? And all that stuff, all those different idols, man, go back to since way back, man. All right? Going to the time of Nimrod. Okay? There's a book that I got. It's called The Delusion. Matter of fact, I might have it on me real quick. The Strong Delusion, right? Strong Delusion, Christianity's institutionalized witchcraft. I'll read like 1, 2 little things out of it real quick, right? You know? Are people under that strong delusion of these different idols, right? It says strong delusion, right? It says we have all been living in an artificial reality, pretending that everything we see and do has real substance. We have been beguiled by evil forces that keep the masses hypnotized and captive to a scheme of worldwide rebellion, witchcraft, the definition of delusion, right? Because this is what our people have, a mental disorder, man. All of our people, because they lack the knowledge of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, they have a mental disorder. You see, you're no longer in that mental disorder when you have the knowledge of the Lord, all right? Because the truth shall set you free from that delusion, right? It says that how you say this? Hold on. Let me bring it out so I can say it properly. Give me 1 second. Let me just spell this word so I can say it right. There you go. Whoo! Idiosyncratic. Okay? Idiosyncratic. I didn't want to say it all messed up. An idiosyncratic belief or impression, this is the definition of delusion, or belief or impression that is firmly maintained despite being contradicted by what is generally accepted as reality or a rational argument, typically a symptom of mental disorder. Okay? So at the end of the day, synonyms of it is misapprehension, misconception, misunderstanding, mistake, error, misinterpretation, misbelief, a fallacy, illusion, fantasy. A deluded mind is a carnal mind. You see? Right? Let me grab another page real quick. Yeah, are people living in a constant psychosis, right? It says later under Hebrew idioms, right? Well learned that critical ideas have been taken literally, yet they are abstractions meaning completely different things. A delusion can lead to a psychotic break with reality, psychosis, a loss of contact with reality that usually includes false beliefs about what is taking place or who one is deluded. You see? That's what our people are caught up in, a psychosis, man. Literally. Because they've been brainwashed so bad, so far, all right, that they have lost touch with reality, man. All right. This is a good book though. If you ain't got one, grab one. Cheap as hell, like $5-6. All right. It teaches you about all the different holidays, what they mean. The only thing they use in here is that they use the name of Yeshua, which we know that's not the name of the true power. It's Yahweh. Okay. But it's a good book to read. All right. And it tells you about all these different pagan holidays, what they really mean, you know, going into Christmas, because we're about to come into Christmas. Here it is. We're about to worship. We're gonna have a bunch of our people worshiping Christopher Columbus's bullshit, right? All right. They done slaughtered millions and millions of our brothers, Native American brothers. Okay, and you want to sit here and you want to go celebrate this shit with these damn heathens. Then after that, you gonna go and cut a tree down from the forest, okay? And basically what it represents is a penis in the middle of your damn living room, okay? The wreath represents a woman's fertility, her vagina, okay? You put the balls on the Christmas tree representing testicles, you know? The tinsel represents the sperm that comes out. You see, this devil's disgusting, man. He's filthy as hell. While you just sit there and you're like, oh my God, I can't wait to open my gifts. Yay. You know, not understanding anything of it, man. But let's go back. Let's go where that brother had, because I'm right here next to Wisdom of Solomon 12. All right. This is what goes on behind closed doors all right, with these elites, man. Shalom, brother, shalom. Yahawaah'S. This is Wisdom of Solomon, all right, 12 and 4, right? And it says, whom thou hatest for doing most odious works of witchcrafts and wicked sacrifices, and also those merciless murderers of children and devourers of man's flesh. Yeah, you see, you got people that are literally giving up their children onto Baal, man. Okay, the Lord told you not to do. Let's go real quick to Leviticus. This is Leviticus, I believe it's in 18. I mean 17, 18, and 19. They all juicy. 22. All right. This is Leviticus 17 and you know what? Let me just grab it from my phone. I like how it tells you the what it's gonna go into. All right, this is Leviticus. Let me see, 17. 17 goes into you not eating blood, right? 18 goes into laws of forbidden sexual practices. Okay. Yeah, this I think is a 19. 19 and let me see. Thou shalt not pass thy seed through the fire of Molech, KJV. How we doing? This is Leviticus 18. All right. So Leviticus 18 and 20. All right. I mean not 20, 21. Right? So it says, moreover, thou shalt not lie carnally with thy neighbor's wife to defile thyself with her, right? Because it's adultery at the end of the day. And these elites, so they push that heavy, man. See, these elites have made you believe that you could commit adultery, and there's nothing wrong with that, man. The Lord said He'll put you to death for that, man. Okay, what they taught you? They taught you all that swinging. You know, that swinging is the best thing you could possibly do. That's why you see our women in that spirit today. These women taking all these vacations, going on these carnival cruises. You know, where you just go on the carnival cruise, you pay a certain amount of money, they give your ass a drug when you walk in, and all you're doing is having sexual relationships with all types of different men. You see, swinging with all different types of different couples, man. I done seen a video that went viral, man. The woman was talking about how she went on a boat. All right, she bought a ticket, went on the boat. She said she was scared at first, but she said when she saw a long ass thing just get dropped right on her shoulder, all right, she got horny as hell. And after that, she ended up sleeping with like 200 men in one night. You know what I'm saying? On a carnival cruise. While they fed her all types of drugs, you know, swinging with all different types of swinging with all different types of couples. You see? And who the one that put that shit out? Who put that vibration out? Esau, man. The scriptures say what, man? That there is not a more profane person, all right, than Esau, man. Let's grab that real quick. This is Hebrews. This is Hebrews 12. Come on. 1 second. Hebrews 12 and 16. And it says, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. Okay? So ain't nobody more, all right, when you go into a fornicator, man, it's a person that has no morals, man. He's just wicked, especially sexually, man. Esau's the one that told you to ram it up. You know, you could ram it up somebody's rooter, okay? You could ram it up a chocolate hole if you want anytime, you know. You got this devil that don't pushed out the spirit of Ham, all right, through all this pornography, okay? You're not supposed to be doing that, okay? Watching pornography, that's the spirit of Ham, okay? What did Ham get cursed for, man? Okay, the Lord, you had Noah that said, "Cursed be Canaan for what? For a reason, because he was looking at his father's nakedness." Okay, so you got all these people today. All right, that's why they have a certain spirit of lust upon them from watching so much damn porn, man. They watch all this porn. All right, they see the way the porn is getting put out. You know, niggas done ran trains on one woman. You know, orgy fest in the porn. You know, and while a man is sitting there looking at this shit, looking at another man's rod going into a damn hole, right? And now it's even more worse because now they got weird shit on these pornography sites, man. You know, a bunch of transformers, you know, a bunch of fagonometry to the point where they even put bestiality on that shit, man. See, Esau's the one that brought all that into play, okay? Learning it from all these different cultures, man. You see, because that started out there with Canaanite activity, man. All right, and then eventually, like I said earlier, all right, Esau likes to follow after different cultures because he has no culture, so he'll grab all these different cultures and put it together, you know, and then he'll put it out there and make it an entertainment for you. Now you sitting there beating your shit, 100 times, 100 miles per hour, drugged up. You know, that's the vibe. This is why this devil got to be taken out of the way, man. To the point where it wasn't enough. It wasn't satisfying with him just doing swinging and doing it, with humans. But now he want to involve animals and shit, man. That is wicked as hell, bro. You know, bro. That's why I had to get off of fucking Facebook, man. Facebook is wild as hell. And Facebook now, bro, that's just one big demon waiting for your ass, man. You know, they'll put all types of weirdo shit right on Facebook. See, in Instagram, they'll knock your shit off when you do some weirdo shit. But in Facebook, they pushing shit like that on there, man, because they know that's where the children are, man. That's where the young is at. So they try to they're trying to brainwash your children at a young age, man, to make you think that these things are normal. All right. So when they come and bring the satanic new world order, all right, these are the things that they're going to put in front of you all day long, man. You either going to have to be down with their satanic ways, all right, or you're going to be off. You're going to be unalived out of their system. You see? Right? So it says there's not a more profane person or fornicator like Esau, man. So going back to Leviticus, right? It says 21. It says, and thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire to Molech, neither shalt thou profane the name of thy power. I am the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Okay? And the way they do that today is, through parent planhood, planning hood, whatever the hell you call that shit. All right? They'll go out there and convince you to abort your children. That go all the way back to the time of Egypt, man. You have Pharaoh killing off all the males that were Hebrew Israelites. That's what they do today. They'll try to kill off the males, man, but keep the women. So they could defile the women. The women are already the most wicked thing on planet Earth. All right. They see that the women of Israel are all out of order. So they'd rather keep the women out of Israel to use them as that weapon to demonize the man. To make the man go off, or whatever little man that's still left here, they'll have these women attack him and break him as a man, basically. You see? And then Esau take our women and try to continue his lineage and make a bunch of tares, man. That's why they keep the women. See, they don't want the men because it's called ethnic cleansing, man. They take all the men and they try to take them out of the way so none of our lineage could exist anymore. You know? Let me go into that real quick. Ethnic cleansing. Yeah, ethnic cleansing refers to the purposeful policy of a group to remove by violent or terror inspiring means the civilian population of another ethnic, racial, or religious group from what's going on? From civilian population of an ethnic, racial, or religious group from a given geographic area to achieve ethnic homogeneity. Okay? And they've always been doing that. And there's another word too that they use. Forgot the name of it. All right. Got to find that word again. You know, but they're trying to just take out all the men so there won't be no more Israelites being created. All right. Esau want to be fruitful and multiply his fucking generation. All right. And his lineage because he's the smallest out of all the heathens, man. He's the smallest out of all the heathens. He's the most despised. Okay. He knows that that the Lord hates him. Okay. So here it is. He's just trying to mingle. All right. Like he's always done. He's always trying to hide. Okay. Hide in between our race, man, by taking our women. And that's why he pushed out that what do you call it? Interracial marriage. Okay. See, we're allowed to deal with these other women. Okay. But you're not supposed to be taking these other nations as wives. You're supposed to keep it within our women, man. You see, you're supposed to make these other women concubines. Okay. But Esau pushed that interracial marriage, all right, to have our women going after white men, all right, in all these other nations so he could really hide himself. Okay. And the Lord specifically told you women of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latino, and Native American women, not to deal with any of these other nations, man, at all. You see, that's why you had Levi and Simeon. All right, they ended up taking out a whole entire town. All right, because they defiled their sister. You see, right? Let's go back to Leviticus 18. All right. Matter of fact, let me grab from the top, right? Forbidden sexual practices, right? It says, speak unto the children of Israel, say unto them, I am the Lord Yahweh, your power, and after the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwell, shall ye not do. See, you're not supposed to be going after the ways of Canaan, man. All right. But here it is today in America, they do the same exact thing that the Lord told them not to do. Right. It says, after the doings of the land of Canaan, whether I bring you, shall ye not do, neither shall ye walk in their ordinances. Ye shall not do, ye shall do my judgments and keep mine ordinances to walk therein. I am the Lord Yahweh, your power. You shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, which a man do, he shall live in, which if a man do, he shall live in them. I am the Lord Yahweh. None of you shall approach to any that is near of kin to him to uncover their nakedness. I am the Lord Yahweh. Yeah, meaning you're not supposed to have no sexual relationships with any of your relatives, man. Who do that? Who known for that? Esau. These damn Canaanites, these Hamites, known to do stupid shit like that, man. You see? And then you follow after their ways and you just committing sin before your maker, man. Esau do that the most. You see? That's why you got a lot of inbred babies, man, when you go into Esau and his wicked ass ways, man. Right? You got, it says, the nakedness of the father or the nakedness of thy mother shalt thou not uncover. She is thy mother, and thou shalt not uncover their nakedness. Yeah, you're not supposed to have no sexual relationships with your father, your mother, none of that. Esau will teach you to do that shit. Okay? He weirdo like that. It says the nakedness of thy father's wife shall thou not uncover. It is thy father's nakedness. Yeah, you're not supposed to have no sexual relationships with any of your father's wives or his concubines, man. Look what happened to Reuben. All right. Reuben lost the birth. He was supposed to get the birthright, all right, to the northern kingdom, right? But he was taken away from that birthright because he slept with his father's concubine, man. That's why it was given on to Ephraim. You see? It says, thy nakedness of thy sister, the daughter of thy father, or the daughter of thy mother, whether she be born at home or she be born abroad, even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover. Okay? You're not supposed to be sleeping with your sister, none of your half sisters, okay? Whether it be from your mom's side, your dad's side, okay? It don't matter. You're not supposed to do that, right? It says, the nakedness of thy son's daughter or thy daughter's daughter, even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover, for theirs is in thine own nakedness, okay? And you'll see Esau push that, okay, in pornography, man. You'll have a whole title of that. I smashed my father's daughter. You know, like, yo, I mean, I smashed my daughter's daughter. This is the type of weirdo shit that you see Esau push on a daily basis, man. Okay, it says, "Thou shalt not the nakedness of thy father's wife's daughter, begotten of thy father. She is thy sister. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness." Okay. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me jump on the NLT side. It says, "Do not have sexual relationships with your stepsister, the daughter of any of your father's wives, for she is your sister." That's right, because it goes to the father's lineage. All right. So whether you have the same mother or not, okay, everything goes back to the father's lineage. Okay, that is considered your family. If your father has 7 daughters, all right, but they all have different mothers, all right, y'all all related at the end of the day, man. It says, do not have sexual relations with your father's sisters, for she is your father's close relative. Okay? Going into your aunts, right? Do not have sexual relations with your mother's sister, for she is your mother's close relative. Do not violate your uncle, your father's brother, by having sexual relations with his wife, for she is your aunt. You see? And again, who pushes all this right here? Esau. Do not have sexual relations with your daughter-in-law. She is your son's wife, so you must not have sexual relations with her. Do not have sexual relations with your brother's wife, for this would violate your brother. Do not have sexual relations with your woman, with both woman and her daughter. All right, and you see that one being pushed heavy. Okay, and do not take her granddaughter, excuse me, whether her son's daughter or her daughter's daughter, to have sexual relationships with her. They are all close relatives, and this would be a wicked act. Okay, and leave it up to Esau. He'll put a whole damn pornography, all right, a whole shit show for you. Okay, it says, do not have sexual relationships with a woman during her menstrual period during her period of menstrual impurity, man. Okay, that's one of the things that are being pushed right now, man. You got women talking about, oh yeah, you know, I'm ready. You know, you could come have some bloody wings. You know, you got another one that's even more wicked right now that I just seen come across Instagram. That now is a trend that these women is taking their menstrual blood and putting it on their face, literally on their face, and using that as a agent mask. You know, it's supposed to keep you looking young. Fucking nasty, yo. Filthy. And you women will follow after it. That's the crazy part about it. These women literally gonna follow right after that trend. Because the woman is deprived from wisdom. You see? They got no wisdom whatsoever. And they're the most wicked thing on earth. All right? It says, do not defile yourself by having sexual relations with your neighbor's wife. Adultery. Okay? Do not permit any of your children to be offered as a sacrifice to Molech, for you must be For you must not bring shame on the name of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Yeah, because when you have a child, all right, the Lord, that's a gift of the Lord, man. So now you spitting in the Lord's face after he done gave you a gift, okay? And then you're gonna give it to one of these damn devils, man. In the ancient time, they were putting it through the fire of Moloch. They were literally having a Moloch statue that you would sit, that is sitting down, and they will put it on the lap of Moloch, all right? And then the statue will actually open up, and when they will drop into the lap, it was a whole thing of fire underneath it. And the way they do that today is by the way of what? They'll do that through parent planhood, okay? Aborting babies and fetuses, okay? And they're still doing that, putting them through the fire also. Go out there to what's that shit called? They go to the woods every year, these damn Illuminati. Damn, what's it called? Something Grove. Forgot what the name of it is. If one of you brothers got it, all right, put it up. Okay? Bohemian Grove, that's what it is. You know, they got a whole big ass statue of Moloch. They got a whole big ass statue of an owl, man. And they go out there. Well, who was it? I think it was Richard Nixon. One of the presidents said that it was the most faggotiest thing that they ever seen on planet Earth when they walked up in there, man. Doing all types of satanic, paganistic rituals, man. Offering people on top of altars, man. Cutting people up in pieces. Cutting up babies in pieces. Feeding them. Okay? It says, thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is an abomination. Yeah, you're not supposed to be doing no fagonometry, man. Having sex with another man as with a woman is detestable unto the Lord. Okay? Neither shalt thou lie with any beast to defile thyself therewith. Neither shall any woman stand before a beast to lie down thereto. It is confusion. You see that being pushed out there, man. You go to one of these weirdo ass shows of these Edomites, these rock and roll stars. They'll bring out a whole damn horse, okay, and put it on stage, and they'll have a whole bugged out woman, okay, and she'll bend over and have the horse just clapping them cheeks. Wicked as hell. You have the woman sitting there, all right, doing giving that shit neck till they drip. Come on, man. This is the world that we live in. This is the world this is what it's going to come to, okay, when it comes to this new world order, man. This is what your favorite celebrities and your favorite actors are doing behind closed doors to get this money, okay? There's no more hiding it. It's out there for you to understand it. You see? But if you don't sit there and say, that is filthy, and say, that's nasty, that's because you actually like that shit, man. See, you're going to be one that gets brainwashed, okay, at one point with it. Right? And that goes back to what the brother got here. All right, whom thou hatest for doing the most odious works, man. When you're doing odious works, you're doing works that is let's see what that word odious goes into, man. All right. Definition of odious. Extremely unpleasant, repulsive, revolting, okay, disgusting, offensive. See, this is all disgusting and offensive to the Lord. It's vile, okay, foul, nauseating, sickening, hateful, monstrous, insufferable, intolerable. See, this is what these devils do. How you think the Lord feels when he sees these things and then he see our people following right after it, man? All right. Let me grab. Real quick. This is This is Deuteronomy 32 and 16. It says, they provoked him to jealousy with strange gods, and with abominations provoked they him to anger. They sacrificed unto devils, not to Yahweh. To Yahweh, I mean to gods whom they knew not, to new gods that came newly up. Yeah, and they're about to do that now. When this new world order comes, it's going to be new gods, new ways for you to abominate in front of the Lord, man, to do sinful things in front of the Lord. This is why the Lord has to intervene, man. All right? Because there will be no flesh saved, man. We will have to all be put to death on a whole nother level for being here any longer. Okay? Our people are already brainwashed into all types of weirdo things, man. Imagine when this devil brings his satanic error, man. Right? It says new gods that came up newly up, whom your fathers feared not. Of that rock that begot thee, thou art unmindful, and hast forgotten Yahweh that formed thee. And when the Lord Yahweh saw it, he abhorred them because of the provoking of his sons and of his daughters. And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be, for they are a froward generation, children in whom there is no faith. They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not Yahweh. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities, and I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. Okay? And that's why the Lord has turned their faces away from them, man, and give them up to vile affections, gave them up to uncleanness, and made them what? Reprobate minds, man. Ones that are not worthy to receive this truth, to receive the name of the Lord. You see? Because of the sins that they're enticed with on a daily basis, man. Matter of fact, let's grab that. James. This is James 1 and 12. Blessed is the man that endured temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord has promised to them that loved him. Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of Yahweh, for Yahweh cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempteth he any man. See, the Lord can only just send them demons to go mess with your mind, man. See, but you have to know the spirit of discernment to know better. If you would have the word of the Lord, you would make that better choice. You see? But because you don't have the word of the Lord, you become enticed, you see, through your own lust of trying to be curious to these things. You see? It says, but every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. Then when lust has conceived, it bringeth forth sin, and sin, when it is finished, it bringeth forth death. You see? So basically what happens is that you, all right, be enticed in your own mind, and you become curious to these things, man. And when you become curious, all right, well, curiosity killed the cat, right? You see? So what you're going to end up finding out is you're going to find out the hard way. All right? And then something bad happens to you. You might get put to death. You might not even get put to death. The Lord might put somebody to death that's in your family, you know, one of your children. You see? That's how the Lord works, man. The Lord said, I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. I, the Lord, do all these things. See, but these people can't wrap their head around that, man. They think the Lord is all about love. Oh, the Lord not going to do that. That's something evil. All right, well, you fuck around and find out, right? So let's go back. To Leviticus. All right, 18. That was at the bottom. 24, it says, defile not yourselves in any of these things, for in all these the nations are defiled. See, these other nations are defiled with these ways, man. That's why the Lord said, follow not the multitude to do evil. All right, follow not in the way of the heathen, man, Because the heathens ain't nothing but bad news for you at the end of the day, man. You see, even as men, that's why we're allowed to deal with these other women, right? These other nations, but it's best that you don't. How's she talking about? You know, we allowed to deal with these heathen, but it's best you don't. To see these women, these heathens will make you go off, man. What did they made King Solomon go off, man? Right? Yeah, 700 wives and 300 concubines, man. And what did the heathens do? The heathen women do? They ended up making him turn his heart away from the Lord. They make you depart because you start following after their ways, man. You start getting caught up in the lust of things, you know. You know, we tell women, I mean, we tell these men to deal with these other women of these other nations because our women is all messed up. they worse than anything, you know. But see, you just got to deal with them on a concubine level, man. Hit it and run. Sprint right after that. You see? Don't get caught up cuddling up with their asses, all right? Don't get caught up, you know, laying all damn day with their asses because eventually they're going to turn your heart away from YAHAWAH'S, YAHAWAH'S. All right? Let me grab, this is what I wanted to grab real quick. In Deuteronomy, this is Deuteronomy 20 and 16. But of the cities of these people, which the Lord Yahweh, thy power does give thee for an inheritance, thou shalt save alive nothing that breatheth, but thou shalt utterly destroy them, namely the Hittites, the Amorites, all right, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, as the Lord Yahweh thy power has commanded thee, that they teach you not to do after all their abominations, which they have done unto their gods. So should you sin against the Lord Yahweh your power. You see? And at that time, he was telling them to get rid of them, man. Destroy them people, man. Because of what they had our people following after, man. That spiritual fornication. Okay? Let's grab this. Judges 2 and 2. And ye shall make no league with the inhabitants of this land. Ye shall throw down their altars, but ye have not obeyed my voice. Why have you done this? Wherefore I also said, I will not drive them out from before you, but they shall be as thorns in your sides, and their gods shall be a snare unto you. You see? Until this day, those gods, those same gods that were snares in them times, they're still the same snares in your mind right now, today. You still following after the same exact type of gods, man. You see? And that's because Esau got you in the trick bag. See, you put up the other one. That dude role was so good. They killed him 27 Club. Right? So let's finish that up with the brother had. Wisdom of Solomon 12, right? And 4. It says, whom thou hatest, all right, whom thou hatest for doing the most odious works of witchcrafts and wicked sacrifices, and also those merciless murderers of children, and devourers of man's flesh, and the feast of bloods, with their priests out of the midst of their idolatrous crew, and the parents that killed with their own hands souls those destitute of help, man. You know, you got parents today that will give up their own children for fame, you know, for the things of the world, all right, to make a name for themselves, you know, because they couldn't be nobody and they want to make they'll try to have their kids live through them. They'll try to live through their children, you know. They doing wicked things like that, man. giving up their children onto these devils, man. Yeah, here, man, take my child, man. You can take mine all you want. You know, you want to go suck his blood, go suck his blood. You see, that's how wicked this society has come, man. And that's why the Lord has to destroy this place and intervene, man. Because if we stay here any longer, man, you can't even picture what Esau got in store, man. I'm sorry, I'm sure he'll conjure up some extra wickedness you ain't never hear of, man. Okay, you give him enough time to think about something, man, he'll find something. You know, next thing you know, you got people out here trying to smash a damn tree. You know, you have people out here so damn horny and weird that they just looking for creases and crevices, holes and shit, holes in the ground. You know, but hey, man, I'm about to wrap it up through the spirit. All right. At the end of the day, man, we got to get up out of here, man. All right. And none of these gods, all right, that these people are calling upon, all right, none of these filthy, abominated ways are going to help you get up out of here, man. All right. The only thing that's going to help you is YAHAWAH'S, man, in these last days. All right. This is why we're out here on the highways and hedges giving you this wealth, man, giving you this knowledge of the Lord. Okay. Because that's what's going to save your soul, man. That's what's going to give you salvation, man. If not, you're going to remain stuck in these ways. Okay. Literally stuck in these ways. All right. But it's like these people enjoy being stuck on, under Massa's wing, under all these abominated filths. Okay. Because they have grown attached to these things. See, the more you do wickedness, the more it becomes a natural nature to you. You become that brute beast, just like Esau. You become just like Esau. Esau is one that doesn't have YAHAWAH'S in his thoughts. You see, he really don't. He could care less about the Lord. So the more hey man, yo, there's a cop right there, bro. All right, well, when you get that ticket, don't say I ain't warn you. All right. But yeah, the more you do, the things that Esau has taught you, man, the more you become just like him, man. To the point where you don't care. All right, you will not care. You will become immoral like him, and you never think about anything that you're doing wrong. All right, it just becomes a second nature to you. You see, and Esau's nature has always been just pure filth and disgusting, man. There's nothing that this devil has that is righteous, man. Every last bit of his body, his mind, and his soul, all right, is a disgrace. That's why the Lord has made him the vessel of dishonor, okay? And you can't change that. You can never change that from him. The scriptures say to he that hateth himself, to whom shall he do good? He's literally been created, tailor-made fit, all right, to be the wrath of destruction. And when the Lord come back, man, he gonna have a special judgment for this devil, man. You see, all these heathens out here, all right, gonna be destroyed on another level, man. And the ones that do exist, all right, you're going straight into captivity. Then you're gonna bring back all your heathen members, all right, and they're gonna grow up in captivity until you are disintegrated and out the way forever, for life, And once he is taken out the way, you'll never have to worry about none of this anymore, man. You won't have to worry about none of this filth anymore, because the source is taken out the way. All right. The Lord said, I'll end it with this, man. The Lord coming to take out a long disease, man. All right. And I'll end it with that. This is Ecclesiasticus. Well, you stupid for moving up. You seen him backing up. This is Ecclesiasticus 10, and let's take it from 7. All right. Pride is hateful before Yahweh and man, and by both does one commit iniquity. And that's why Esau has committed the iniquity and the sins that he has done, because he was prideful from the beginning, man. And the pride of his heart has deceived him. You see? It says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. Why is earth and ashes proud? There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man, for such as one setteth his own soul to sell. Because while he liveth, he casteth away his bowels. And that's what you see with our people today. They'll sell their own souls, they'll give up their own bowels, right? Their own moral ways, okay, to literally just sell out for this devil, man. Just to get a pleasure of sin that lasts for a season, you know? But see, here it is, you sell your soul, okay, and now you plagued in your mind for life, man. And you can't, once you sell your soul, all right, which it really don't belong to Esau, your soul belongs to the Heavenly Father, all right? But the fact that you sold it to a man, all right, and not sold it to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai speaks volumes, man. And that's why the Lord won't deal with you. You see? That's why the only way you can be taken out is through death and pain. And you have to be recreated to the loins of the elect, man. You see? It says, for the physician, which is Yahweh Shai, cutteth off a long disease, and he that is a king today is a king, tomorrow shall die. You see? For when a man is dead, he shall inherit creeping things, beasts, and worms, man. And that's what's coming to Esau. All right? But first, before that happens, you're going to have to serve that servitude, man. That 1,000 years, that's going to feel like 10,000 years. All right? And then you're going to be taken out of the way. All right, never to be ever seen again. You're gonna fly away like a dream in the night, you know. So, with that being said, Lord willing, you were edified. The Water Brothers for the precepts, the Water for tuning in. With that being said, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Paul, Lord, and La Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Qadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad, the Akim and the Aquat that was listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing, that the lesson was edifying. To the next one, Shalom. Keep fighting the good fight of faith, enduring as good soldiers of Yahweh Shai. Shalom. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Barakatah.